Today's 4 Deep Sports Talk show is supported by PTU Clinic. Visit ptuclinic.com. Adria's Restaurant and Banquet Facility of East Bridgewater. For more information, their website is adriasrestaurant.net. And the Boston Athletic Academy at bostonathleticacademy.org.
But also on that note, my hat also is in the New England Regional Ring, where I'm in charge of all the Cal Ripken Division programs throughout New England, from Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire,
Wow.
Western Mass, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. So I'm kind of doing double duty these days, but it has been interesting. I've been the state commissioner since Cal Ripken was introduced in as a program of the Babe Ruth Leagues from New Jersey back in 2000. The year 2000 was our inaugural year of the Cal Ripken Division. Prior to that, we were known as the Bambino Division of Babe Ruth League Baseball.
Gotcha.
I've been the state commissioner for a long time.
You sure have. So how has COVID affected your entire schedule and what's been going on in the country and all that good stuff?
Well, I don't know if there's enough time on this show for me to explain how COVID has impacted our program for kids from the ages of 4 through 12. It has been devastating in a lot of ways. Missing last year truly hurt everybody, not just Cal Ripken, but it hurt the Little League organization, the Dixie League organization, Mickey Mantle, and there are so many other organizations throughout the country that cater to youth sports that were just, some of them failed. Some of them have just gone right on out of business. They couldn't support it any longer because nobody could play baseball. Fortunately for us, under the umbrella of Babe Ruth League Incorporated, we've been around since this is our actually 70th year as a program, not only nationally but also internationally. So, our footsteps are pretty deep, and we were able to overcome, the financial aspects of things and the organizational structure of things as an organization. So we were very, very happy to get back onto the field this year. But last year was devastating. Without a doubt, kids did not have that outlet. Parents didn't have the outlet for the kids. Being locked down and stuff like that was, well, I don't have to tell everybody out there. It was a challenge in many respects.
Sure.
And some of the lingering aspects were felt this year in 2021 as, leagues weren't totally lubricated as well as they normally are because they missed that season. The volunteers, a lot of them either changed directions, went other ways, or just got lost in the shuffle. So a lot of reorganization had to happen in 2021 this year in order to try to get back to where we were prior to COVID. And that was that. We never really got back. I would say we're complete now with our 2021 spring seasons, with our tournament trail. We went through the district tournaments back in April and May, and then the state tournaments in June, and we just concluded our New England regional tournaments, and now the World Series is the only thing we have left for this year, which is going to start next week.
Right.
And a lot of the communities, a lot of the parents and stuff like that are somewhat hesitant, wondering whether or not they should be traveling around the country and trying to absorb all the information about what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing. It is a challenge for a lot of people. So we've not got over COVID yet as
Right,
far as
right.
youth athletics. So it's going to take another year, I think.
Oh,
So,
I think so too.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. I actually had another question for you. Was there like a limited capacity going into this season? Were there like a certain number of people allowed to go to any games?
well, it varies throughout the country, quite frankly, because here in New England, we really don't get started with our on-field portion of things until April, usually. Okay, some leagues and some leagues out west and down south, they're halfway into their seasons by the time we even get started here in New England. So there have been regulations at the local levels, at the state levels that vary amongst the states all over the country. Here in Massachusetts, we were pretty fortunate in a way that people seem to adhere to a lot of the guidelines that were established not only by our local areas but by the state and the federal government. And we opened up slowly, as I'm sure you recall, and it all seemed to work pretty good. And throughout the middle part of the recreation season this year, things looked very optimistic on how the virus was actually doing, spreading and moving. And then all of a sudden, hey, come back and we're in the situation that we're in now, where there seems to be a reemergence of this thing and this variant Delta thing, and it's got a lot of people concerned. And I do know that from my own experience here in New England, we have teams that have won their state tournament, and they're not really sure that they want to go on to other states to play in regional or national locations because they're not sure. But we've always followed the guidelines here in Massachusetts, and we were very lucky to get a full season in, although maybe somewhat we had to tinker with it a little bit. But for your question, in regards to the fans, if you will, in the stands,
Right.
along the way, throughout the course of the year, there wasn't a lot of difference that I can attest to here. I saw a lot of games, a lot of tournament games, and they were fairly well received as far as attendance goes. I think a lot of people were just happy to get back onto the field and watch your kids play. Some towns they made you put masks on when you're sitting in the dugout, and if you're out on the field, you didn't have to have masks on. So we kind of just went with the flow for all the local regulations that were out there because we wanted to make sure that we protected everybody as best as possible.
Yeah, hello, Mr. Janicki. My name is Joseph DeVerns. You brought up the Delta variant. I just wanted to ask you if you have had any like internal discussions throughout the leagues about whether that will affect the future in case there's a quarantine like there was for the original COVID virus.
Well, there certainly has been discussions in regard to COVID in general, but now with the Delta variant, we recently had a situation where an umpire was diagnosed positive with COVID, and so this was during one of our state tournaments, and so we had to do the necessary contact tracing situation. We had to identify all the teams that were involved, where this umpire was, what games he did, who was part of the game that he was involved with. We had to contact the managers of all the teams that were in contact with this guy to find out if anybody had any symptoms. And knocking on wood here, we came out clean. So yes, it is right in the forefront of us. It's right in our face, and we have to do everything we can to be safe. And the only refreshing part of it is that the rec season is now over, and people hopefully will continue to use precautions whenever they're out in public and stuff like that, so we can get this thing over and done with, and hopefully put it in the past. But it's in our face for sure. Yep.
Yeah, I bet it's a relief that you guys don't have to worry about that for about a year now. I feel like that umpire situation really is the worst case scenario during a state tournament. That has to be the worst time to contact trace.
Yeah, and we didn't even know it right away. I mean, we went through the state tournament and to find out the umpire was diagnosed like 6 or 7 days after, he had performed on the field. So we had to do that. We had to backtrack there. So fortunately, like I say, everybody came out clean. So we'll knock on wood on that one.
Yeah, I bet
here we
you're
are
glad that's
going-
done now.
Here we are going into national tournament time, and again, I mean, the more that this variant rears its head, higher it rears it, and the more concerned people, parents, and organizations, and the people that are putting on these tournaments, they've been working on this for quite a long time, and there's a lot of effort that goes into a national tournament, and I know that there's thoughts about whether or not teams are going to physically travel. Those decisions are being made right now by teams and parents. So I know that in the Ripken division, in our World Series, we have several of them. In our 12-year-old World Series, it is scheduled to be in West Palm Beach, Florida, on the 6th of August, which is only 6 days away.
Wow.
To travel to West Palm Beach in an area of Florida that, if you read the news and you look at the TV, I mean, I can see parents being concerned about it. So a lot of decisions are being made right now on whether or not national tournaments are even going to be held. It's interesting. So we'll see what happens next week. But that's the world that we're faced with right now, and we've got to try to deal with it. We want to make sure all of our kids are always
Is
protected.
he still talking? I can't even hear anything.
No, he was speaking, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Mike.
Hey, Dominic, how are you?
Yeah, his
There you go.
headphones just fell off. Is our bad, Mr. Janicki? 1 second. There's have all that technical
Sure,
issues.
not a problem.
Got nothing smoking, Mike. I swear to God.
I can't believe you just said that.
Me either.
Hey, we're gonna get ready to take our first break, Mike. Can we hold on to you for right after the break as well?
Sure.
All right, so we're going to step away. You are listening to 4 Deep Sports Talk here on the news station, 1320 AM WARA, and online, all one word, 4deepsportstalk.com. You can watch us right off our Facebook link, off our website. We have the privilege of having Mike Janicki, Eastern Massachusetts Cal Ripken State Commissioner. We'll be back with him and talk more Cal Ripken right after this.
Welcome to Physical Therapy U. I'm Kelly Duggan, Doctor of Physical Therapy and the owner of PTU Clinic. Here at PTU, you're more than a patient and we're more than physical therapy. We offer massage, physical therapy, occupational therapy, personal training, and sport-specific performance training. We treat people and athletes of all ages and all levels of experience. Our beautiful 4,500 square foot facility located at 75 Scotland Boulevard in Bridgewater, Mass. is unlike any clinic you've seen. Our large space, along with our new COVID guidelines, allow us to treat you in the safest way. Your success in meeting your goals is our top priority. Whether you're recovering from a surgery or you're elevating your performance, we are the right clinic for you. Call us at 508-697-2000 or email us at ptuclinic@gmail.com. Check out our website at www.ptuclinic.com.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome back to 4 Deep Sports Talk. We are on WARA 1320 AM radio. We have the Cal Ripken Baseball Commissioner of Eastern Massachusetts, Mike Janicki. You still with us, Mr. Janicki?
I sure am.
Okay, nice.
All right.
Good.
So do you have a question, Sportsmaster?
Yes, Mike, this is Justin Ferreira, and I wanted to ask you, how do you become a Little League commissioner?
That's a great question.
Yes, indeed it is, and I have to. I'm sure that if you could see me, you could see that there's probably a big smile on my face because I've often asked myself that question, especially during some of the more trying times or whatever. But first of all, it's a volunteer situation, so you got to have the love for the game. You got to have the passion for the kids, that type of thing, especially if you're going to do something that you hope will make a difference. And I've always looked at youth sports and my own background playing. I played Little League baseball, and it was probably the happiest time of my life as a 9, 10, 11, and 12-year-old little kid playing pickup baseball. And I enjoyed that so much that I continued it on even into my teenage years. I played high school baseball. And I went to the military. I played for the military and I married, had kids, 3 boys. I was going to be on a baseball field somewhere. So
It's just bound to happen.
Got a whole team there.
I put it all together and said, if I'm going to be here, I might as well try to make a difference. And I met up with some very, very extremely fine people who were running the Babe Ruth leagues at the time, and I ran a tournament, and they liked the way that I had organized things, and that type of thing. They asked me if I'd like to consider getting involved at the district level, and so I did, and became a district commissioner back in, sometime in the late 80s, and I just went from there for the district. I went onto the state side, and eventually I became the commissioner and have held that position for about 3 decades now. And I don't see me doing anything else. I'm pretty much retired otherwise, and I spend a lot of time doing this because I remember that feeling that I had as a kid, and I'm trying to reproduce that to as many kids as I can to enjoy this experience. So that's pretty much why I'm here, still here. That type of thing. I got lucky. I met some nice people who thought I could do something, and they gave me an opportunity, and just kind of worked out. I do that to this day. I see people that I think have an extra special awareness or passion for the game and for the kids, and I'll ask them, hey, you interested in getting involved? And most of the time, if they do, they become really good friends. Most of the people that are my district commissioners now have been with me for 20 plus years. Their children are long out of the program. Their grandchildren are in the program now, and they're still with me. They're still passionate about it. So that says a lot for the kind of people that are involved in this program.
Absolutely. That's an awesome story.
Yeah, it's a great
Yeah.
story.
What position did you play in baseball in your time?
I played second base. I was always a little guy. When I played high school baseball in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, McCoy Stadium was my home field, and I sometimes look back at pictures and I see how tall everybody was on my team, and I was just this short little kid. So the little kids always usually played second base.
Right.
So I got into second base, and that's where I played in the infield. I was an infielder, and of course, playing sandlot baseball with my friends, you played in any position you could get to, and enjoyed it. And but that's I played high school second base. When played in the military to the Coast Guard, and I played shortstop, second base, as a middle infielder. And, although I was small, I was rather quick on my team, so that I was usually the leadoff batter also. So that was my slot, if you will. First batter, playing second base.
Yeah, you
Bring
did.
it back. you're bringing back some memories there.
Yeah. Yeah. So you said you mentioned you played baseball in the military. Would that be like your highest level you ever played at baseball?
Yes, absolutely. I played on the All Coast Guard team down in the 14th Coast Guard District, which was the South Pacific. Played a lot in the Hawaiian Islands. Played a lot of games at Pearl Harbor Navy Base. Obviously on the Coast Guard facility. Then I went to the Coast Guard Academy in New London, Connecticut, and played there until I eventually was discharged out and that type of thing. So yeah, I wore the Coast Guard colors for a while, both baseball and fast pitch softball. Yeah, that was definitely the highest level. I don't know if I was good enough to ever play college baseball. I would have liked to have the opportunity to try, but the draft had other plans for me in 1969. So I was unable to get to college to play baseball. Whether or not I would have made a team, I guess I'll have to always wonder about that.
Yeah, no, that's pretty impressive that you played baseball in the Coast Guard, though. I didn't even know that you could actually play more sports in the Coast Guard, because I knew there was Army and the Navy for football, but I didn't know there were actual other sports outside of just football.
Yeah,
like
same
college.
here. Same here. I
Oh,
come from
absolutely.
a military
Absolutely.
family.
Yeah, no, I do
myself,
too.
Navy, and
Yeah.
my dad was a chef for the Admiral in the Navy. And growing up, we used to watch the Red Sox all the time, and my dream was to become Hazel May. Believe it or not, yeah. I
Oh.
always wanted to be Hazel May.
There you
And
go.
I came pretty close. So, singing the national anthem at a lot of events, and I have two boys, of course, always involved in Little League, supported Riverside Little League out of Rhode Island. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. I call the kids up to the plate, and so when you have that passion, it stays with you for like forever.
You were the announcer, like
I
when you
was the announcer,
announcing
yeah.
players' names up to bat. Oh
Yeah.
wow,
I
Yeah,
didn't
it was
know
a
that.
lot of fun.
wow.
A lot of fun. And to this day, I still do a couple of them, but not as much. So I'm on the other side in media, covering games and for cable TV stations in southeastern Mass. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, nice.
But that passion will always be there.
Mm.
Yeah, no, I had a brother who used to play baseball all the time, but he joined the Coast Guard. I'm gonna have to tell him he has to join the team on there now.
There you go. There you go.
It was a special place. Yeah. Coast Guard Academy is a special place also. Yep, for sure. So now my grandchildren play baseball, and my oldest grandson is he's pretty talented. He's been on several All-Star teams, plays American Legion, and heading to Syracuse this next month.
Oh,
Wow.
That's sick.
Congratulations.
As a
That's
freshman.
awesome.
So he's been pretty successful over the years, and at playing baseball. So it's nice to be able to go sit down and watch a game without having to worry about whether the umpires are on time, whether they got their patches on, and making sure that the toilets are working or things of that nature. But as a spectator, I still get a lot of satisfaction out of watching a game of baseball. Yep.
Alright. Do you have another question, Justin?
Yes. Another question I have is, what are the responsibilities for being commissioner?
Well, that's another loaded question. The most important one, I think, is to create an atmosphere of enjoyment for the kids to nurture in the game of baseball. To understand the finer points of it takes time. You just don't learn it. You can have fun running around the bases, sure, but why do you run around the base? What reason do you tag a base with your foot on the inside of the bag and not the outside of the bag? Why is it that you have to watch the pitcher in his motion to not get an advantage over a batter? Understanding the finer points of the game is, I like to think, is an important feature. So this way here, as a young boy playing the game, you're playing it for enjoyment. But as you get older and you're watching it on TV and you wonder why the announcers are saying, well, this would be a good place for a hit and run. Well, why is it a good place for a hit and run? And if you can understand those type of aspects of the game, you'll enjoy it even more so, not just the physical portion of it, looking at the guy swinging the bat type thing, but are they going to swing at a higher pitch, a lower pitch, outside pitch, inside pitch? They have to guess what kind of a pitch is coming. Once you can understand those finer points of the game, then the game just opens wide open for you, and that's one of the things I like to think that I could teach, to make sure that our coaches, who have the responsibility of these kids, teach them the right way, their mannerisms and their, how to play with sportsmanship. That's so very important in our program. I think that's the key word in the Ripken way is sportsmanship. Play with sportsmanship. Most people would probably agree with me that there probably wasn't a player that had more recognition of being a quality sportsman than Cal Ripken Jr. has. And he still enjoys that reputation. And I've had the good fortune to talk to him about that over a number of years, and his dad and his brother Bill about what it means to play with sportsmanship. And if you were ever involved in those type of conversations, you would be just in awe of how much respect that the Ripken way is given to sportsmanship and treating, having fun and learning the game and playing it well and respecting the rules and knowing that your conduct is such that should be above reproach, and controlling your emotions and speech when you get thrown out. I tell kids that all the time. If that umpire rings you up on a third strike, you don't eyeball him, look back at him, and say anything. You suck it up, and you get him next time. And those type of lessons are invaluable. And if you can, as a commissioner, expand those type of lessons out to as many possible kids and coaches as you can, that's your number one responsibility, I think.
Those are indeed life lessons for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're gonna take our next break. We're gonna have to say goodbye because we're gonna have Jeff Sylvia come on the other line. It was great having you.
Thank you, Mr. Janicki.
Mr. Janicki.
I appreciate the opportunity to talk about Cal Ripken baseball anytime and about youth sports in general.
Absolutely.
I thank you for what you guys do.
Yeah,
to get it
thank
out
you.
there into the public domain, so these kids that we're so responsible for can enjoy the better fortunes.
We'd love to have you back on another show.
Yeah,
You got
so
it. I'd love to be.
that being said, you can call in at 508-222-1320. We will be right back with more right after this.
Hi, this is Megan Chase of Jack Conway Real Estate. Jack Conway has been providing top quality real estate professionalism since 1956. I take personal pride to ensure that my clients are happy with the services I provide. It is my job to make sure that you are fully involved and fully informed and have all the information to make the right real estate decisions for you and your family. Please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to be a resource for you. I can be reached at 774-240-7707 or via email at mchase@jackconway.com. I'm always happy to assist you with your real estate needs.
A popular destination, Adria boasts a breathtaking panoramic view of nature in all of its glory in each and every season. Upon visiting their 200-seat restaurant, you will see 3 distinctive areas. The lounge area includes their spacious 26-seat dining bar, high-top tables, and dining tables, all with viewing access to 7 high-definition televisions and 3 Kino monitors. A second area set apart from the lounge offers booths and tables to accommodate every member of the family. The third area, a few steps down and separated from the main restaurant by windows, is known as the Fairway Room. It is surrounded by a wall of windows offering not just a fabulous view, but a feeling of serenity and tranquility. It is a favorite spot for lunch, dinner, and functions. It is a perfect for a romantic dinner, a casual family gathering, business meeting, or any large group for that special occasion.
Welcome back to the show. This is Catherine Conley, aka KC, with the rest of the crew. We now have Jeff Sylvia. Is this Jeff Sylvia?
Yep.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, not bad. How are you?
I'm doing well. It was great. It's great to have you on the show. And here comes Dominic Damiano.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, that's not my thing.
Jeff, can you hear me? I can't hear him. Oh, it's the other ones, that's why. Oh, boy. Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
Is my mic on? Good, turn my mic on.
you're mic 5?
I'm mic 3.
Oh,
Hey, Jeff, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, I can barely hear. I got to go take a hearing test or something. Oh, boy. All right, cousin, how's it going?
Not bad. How's it going with you?
Good. So Jeff, how long? Yep. So that's our little thing. When Jeff's trying to grab umpires for our association we have in Taunton. Jeff is nice enough to give us district games, just like Mike Janicki helps us out with the state and district and regional games. We always go back, and the first thing we always say to ourselves, what do we say, Jeff? We'll say cousin, right?
Yeah.
oh wow, I like that.
Yeah. Just that's our way of joking around. Same thing with Mike. I joke around with Mike the same way. So Jeff, let's talk about for people who don't know. I know you've been on the show a couple times, even when we were in Taunton. But it'd be nice for the new group of parents that are listening, that are working their way up to 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old age group, even the junior little league and senior little league. Just if you could give us a little bit of your background.
I've been involved with Little League Baseball for 46 years. I've been a coach, manager, concession worker, field worker, league president, umpire. I've done everything you can think of in that time. I started on a district staff probably about, 30-something years ago. I was the assistant district administrator and umpire-in-chief for District 6 for about 14, 15 years before I became the district administrator. I've been a district administrator since 2003. Our district runs a pretty wide area from Norton to Fall River, Taunton, Swansea, Seekonk, and everywhere in between. So it's pretty demanding. That's all I do now. I don't coach anymore. So it keeps you busy enough.
Hey, Jeff, it's Lucy Cabral. How are you?
Not bad, Luce. I can't hear you too well, but that's okay.
Oh,
Okay, there you go.
Turn
Oh,
on,
that's
turn
a
on
lot
the other one.
better.
Turn on.
Can you hear me now?
No, hun.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Oh, good.
Turn on the other one.
Okay.
Turn that one on. There you go.
Also, our condolences to, is it your sister-in-law or your mother-in-law?
My mother-in-law.
Very, very sorry to hear that. I saw that post this morning.
Thank you.
So tell us about the district. I mean, I come from Fall River. I actually live in Tiverton now. My mom had passed away a couple months ago, and now getting back into this and work and everything else. And I know that Fall River hosted the...
No, that was Cal Ripken.
That was Cal Ripken?
That was Cal Ripken.
Oh, I thought Fall River hosted.
No, we didn't. District 6 didn't have any. Did we have any tournaments for District 6 in Fall River, Jeff?
We had
Sorry.
a few home games in the sectional
Okay, good.
tournaments, but we didn't host anything at the state level or higher.
You know what? That just leads me to my next question. Don't you miss the days where you could give a town, say like Fall River or Taunton or whoever, and have them run like a 10-year-old, like almost like a jamboree? So you have one spot, but that was back in the double elimination bracket days, right? Is that how that ran?
Yeah, we used to do that one. Before I was a district administrator, I mean, it started back then, where one site, say like a Taunton West, or a Seekonk as an example, somebody had multiple fields. What we would do is what we called Super Saturday back then was everybody played on the same day. There'd be 3 or 4 games going on at a time, and maybe 2 rounds of games. So it was an all-day affair. Now that we've gotten away from that because as new people come into leagues, people don't like the old way. They want, for whatever reasons, and I understand it. If you're a league that doesn't have a very big concession stand in one field, obviously you can't hold something like that. Those leagues would be a little upset because why do we have to go play a Fall River team in Taunton? Why can't we play that game in Fall River?
Right.
But that's not the way it was set up in the past, and it was the whole point of calling it Super Saturday was to make it an event and get the whole district together in one place. It was a lot easier to assign umpires because if you were short on bodies, Dominic, you can relate to this. You can, have guys double up games, do a doubleheader, and so you need less bodies. Back then, though, the big thing with the issue with the leagues were, we go up to Taunton as an example, and everybody's spending their money at the concession stand in Taunton. That league's making a ton of dough that day, and to spend in their league as they see fit. We don't get the opportunity to host something like that at a different place. That's not fair. We don't get an opportunity to make that kind of money in the concession and whatever. So we left it up to basically, when I became the DA, we left it up basically to the leagues. How do you want to do this? You want to continue to have Super Saturday at the beginning of the tournament, and then it pans out wherever the games fall? Or do you want to have, I selected the fields that the games are at, and, they're all spread out. From an administrative standpoint, that's a little tough because I might have 4 games at the same time at 4 different locations, 4 different towns, and I need, 8 umpires to cover those games as opposed to where maybe I only need 4 because they're going to double up. So, they don't look at it that way. The leagues look at it from a standpoint, this is our league and, we want the opportunity. And I can't blame that. I was a league president, and to be honest with you, when I was a league president, I was one of those guys who voiced that opinion. Because we had just built way back in, I'm going to date myself, way back in 1986, in Fall River Federal at Kennedy Park in Fall River. The league built, not the city. City gave us permission to do it, but the league raised funds and bought the materials and actually put the building up themselves. We have a nice concession stand there, and unfortunately we only have 1 field at that location. But, our league was one of them that, when I was president, voiced that opinion. Hey, we just restarted our field. We, put in sprinklers. Our field's brand new. We just built a new concession stand. We're raising all this money to do these things, but we don't get an opportunity to host Super Saturday. And we voiced that opinion, and we ended up actually hosting it over 2 days. We did a couple of games on Friday and into Saturday. So our league actually, so every league now has the opportunity if they want to put in for it. We actually have a list that rotates, but unfortunately the pandemic kind of messed that up. this year because we didn't have as many teams in the tournament this year as before the pandemic. And I think that had a lot to do with it because some teams were, numbers-wise, were probably a little smaller than they usually are. And, it's been certainly a learning experience to get everything back on track. after
Yeah,
losing last
very,
year.
very challenging. I know that, when our kids were growing up, we had four little towns in East Providence, Riverside, Rumford, East Providence, Central, and, they, just this year, because of the pandemic, they didn't have enough kids to play, so all four districts, got together and made one team, and
That's what it's
very,
like
very
now.
difficult.
That's what it's like in every
Yeah.
every youth league.
Mhm.
Independent,
that's one of the-
Carrick,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Little
Basically,
league.
just
that-
modified seasons.
Right,
And
right.
that's one of the
And teams.
advantages of Little League. Little League's always had, Little League has been on the forefront of youth sports for a very long time. Next year will be the 75th anniversary of the Little League World Series.
Oh, wow.
So they have big plans in Williamsport next year to, and hopefully things will continue to trend the right direction. Because it just even affected that this year. The Little League World Series was an international event. It was canceled obviously last year,
Mm-hmm.
and this year Little League's back on track somewhat. They're only allowing American teams to play.
Mm-hmm.
This year was scheduled to be an expansion from 12 to 16 teams that go to Williamsport. They've changed that. They've scaled that back again, and they're going to implement that next year. So it's going to give 4 more teams an opportunity to go to Williamsport. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, they scaled it back this year to only American teams. There'll be no international teams at the Little League World Series this year, which I think is
Well, it's a wise
good
decision.
move.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look what's happening with the Olympics.
Oh yeah. Jeff, we got to step away and do another break. Can we hold on to you? I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. We'll step away. We now have the privilege of having Jeff Sylvia, District 6 Commissioner for Little League Baseball here in Southeast New England. We'll be back with him and more right after this.
Hello, this is Manny Del Carmen from the 2007 World Series champion Boston Red Sox.
World champs again.
Sports analyst for NESN. Along with my best friend Jose Diaz, we grew up in the city of Boston, a city that we truly love. Jose and I have always talked about giving back to the youth within our city. Therefore, we created the Boston Athletic Academy to move our passion to action. Our goal is to develop future student athletes of Boston by providing a safe location to offer educational and athletic needs. We are taking the next steps and looking forward for your support to reach our goal. Please visit thebostonathleticcacademy.org for more information. Let's make a difference because success has no boundaries.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to 4 Deep Sports Talk. We are here with the District League Commissioner, Jeff Sylvia. Jeff, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I wanted to ask you, how did the teams finish in the district?
We had a real good season this year, and at every level we had 4 divisions playing district tournaments, which were the 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, the Little League Major Division, which are 12-year-olds, and 13 to 14-year-olds, which is the Junior Division. Our district winners at the 10-year-olds were Swansea. Taunton East won the 11-year-old district tournament, and Taunton East won the 12-year-old district tournament, and Swansea won the Junior Division, 13, 14-year-olds. Those 4 teams all went on to sectional play within the state, and I'm happy to report that 3 out of the 4 teams won the Section 2 championship and advanced to the state semifinals. And out of that, we ended up with 1 state championship in the 11-year-olds at Taunton East. And Swansea had a great game. They won the semifinal game and got beat in the state championship in extra innings. They played 9 innings and got beat by 1 run. And it was just a fluke play, a pass ball, and the run scored with the game tied in the bottom of the 9th. The 13-year-olds, 14-year-old juniors from Swansea were state semifinalists. They got beat in the I don't want to get it right. Let me see. They got beat in I believe the semifinal round. I don't have my book in front of me, but if I can remember right. The 12-year-olds from Taunton East got beat in the sectional final. They didn't advance to the state championship, but they were 1 game away. So we had a pretty good year.
Yeah, you did. That sounded like a lot of fun, especially that bottom of the 9th game.
No, exactly. That sounds insane. Like, it got really stressful at the end, I imagine.
Right. Especially at a young age.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I hate it when I'm umpiring and poor kids crying. I'm like, I swear to God, I didn't want to make you cry. I swear to God, I don't want to make you cry. I feel like a jerk.
A lot of fun for the kids and the teams.
Yeah.
Not so much for the district administrator.
I can imagine.
That week I put more miles on my car than I care to talk about.
yeah, but you know what? When you're sitting there right now mentioning about the miles and the time, and when it's all over, you're gonna have a big smile on your face knowing that you and everyone involved with District 6, you do it again in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. The opportunity doesn't come very often to have 3 out of 4 teams playing in the state semifinals or higher. I'm proud of my district. Part of the leagues. It starts with them. My position, I'm just a figurehead. My job at tournament time to make sure my district, besides running the district tournament, is to make sure my winners know where they're going, when they're going, who they're playing, where the fields are, get them directions, get them game times, and make sure they're kind of like a Major League traveling secretary. You make sure the team's on the bus when they're supposed to be on the bus, or make sure the parents have directions, the league president. I deal mostly with league presidents and the managers of the team, not so much parents. But when you're at the games, they know who you are, and they figure it out, and they ask you questions and whatever. Where do we go from here? If we win tonight, where do we go from here?
Yeah,
it's
right.
like, hey, wait a minute, I'm here at the game too. The other game's going on. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball to know who's winning. Thank God for cell phones and texting because you can. Back in the day when I started this, I didn't get the results till. If the game was at 5:45, you didn't even get the results till 9:30, and to pass that information on. Now with a cell phone, a simple text, and you can get a game result when you got the schedule in front of you. It's easy to figure out who you're going to be playing, but then you got to make touch base with the other league. What time is the game? If we host the way it's set up, if we host a sectional game or something higher than districts, then I establish the game time, and I work with the league president of the league that's representing our district. If it's a Taunton East, I get a hold of their president and they say, hey, what time do you want to play the game? You got lights? You want to play it later at night? The other team's coming from wherever. They're gonna have an hour or 2 drive. If we can push it back a little further. That's fine. If you want to play early, it's your. I leave it up to the team because they're the ones out there playing. And if I ever had to move a game to say a neutral site, or for whatever reason, field conditions or field availability, I would certainly consult the league, because obviously everybody wants to play on their own field that they play on all year long.
Right.
In some cases, you can't do that. There's certain standards that Little League has to host games. Every league has to submit a safety plan to Little League headquarters that has to be approved, to make sure your field is up to par. We just don't, throw anybody out on any field and say, hopefully, the grass will be cut that day.
Right.
So there are standards that Little League has in every aspect of the game, which leagues don't really understand what a commissioner or district administrator goes through.
Right.
Because it's my job to make sure they do their safety plan. Because
Right.
I'm the one that has to tell them if they don't have a safety plan approved, you can't host a tournament game at any level.
Right. Hey, Jeff, we have to get off the air. We're just about our hour's already up, and I apologize for cutting you off.
No
So you
problem.
definitely have to come back at another time.
Absolutely. You let me know, and I'll be happy to.
All right, Jeff, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff.
No
Yeah,
problem.
thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank
You're welcome. So that was Jeff Janicki. 4, I'm going to do this really fast.
Jeff Sylvia.
Jeff Sylvia. Oh, my God. He does have a sign, Jeff Janicki.
boy.
For Joe DeVerns, Catherine Conley, AKAC, the Sports Master, Justin Ferrari, of course, Luis Cabral. I'm Dominic Damiano. We will catch you next time. Everyone have a fantastic weekend.
Today's 4 Deep Sports Talk show is supported by PTU Clinic. Visit ptuclinic.com. Adria's Restaurant and Banquet Facility of East Bridgewater. For more information, their website is adriasrestaurant.net. And the Boston Athletic Academy at bostonathleticacademy.org.
This has been a presentation of 4 Deep Sports Talk, where high school and youth athletics come first.